What's up, guys? In this video, we're covering 10 brilliant queen traps you can use to win your opponent's queen in the first few moves of the game in a variety of openings. Whether your opponent likes it or not, he is going to lose his big old queen on that d8 square. And by the way, the inspiration for this video, I have a friend, his name's Will. He lives in Bali. He's like, Mike, all I want to do is just win the opponent's queen out of the opening. How do I do that? And I was like, Will, take a big old chill pill. We're about to manifest your dream reality with a queen trap so fine, you'll say it was divine. You'll be feeling sublime, eating a lime, but your opponent will not be fine. He will be losing his mind. All right, the first trap right here. By the way, man, I'm really impressing myself. I'm feeling this video today. All right, the first trap, you go e4 and your opponent goes d5, the Scandinavian defense. Now, there are a lot of ideas here, but this one, I mean, your opponent, I think is going to walk right into it. So you take the pawn here, black takes back, and now the main move here for white, normally you go, say, knight c3, then d4, but we're going to mix things up a little bit here. We start knight c3, black goes queen to a5. That is the most common move. And now again, d4 here is super standard, and the lines go very deep. But instead, we're going to throw a little bit of a curveball here. Knight to f3. Now, this move is not bad by any means, but I'm telling you, if you're an amateur player, black is going to go bishop g4 here. This is like, you know, a magnet for this bishop. This knight here, this is what Scandinavian players do, and this is what you want. In this position, what you're going to do, you just drive back the bishop. Now, here, if black goes back, if black goes to, say, the h5 square, you can just go g4, driving back the bishop again. And for that reason, a lot of black players here, they don't do that. Instead, what they typically do here, they usually grab that knight, which, no problem, you take back. And now, look at this. You got some pressure on b7. And what is black going to do? Well, most Scandinavian players, I would know, I face them all the time when I go 1e4. They usually go knight c6, and their idea is they want to go long castles and then just attack your king. But what we're going to do here, we're actually going to turn the tables on black with a series of moves. First of all, we go bishop b5, and here we've got this pressure on the knight. So obviously, you don't have to be, you know, a future world champion like Hans Niemann to know. If you take this knight on c6, it's going to be bad news bearer for black. You win the pawn, you fork the king and the rook, and so on. So, you know, black here is going to have to defend. Queen b6. That's the typical move. Most black players will play there, and it makes some sense. Black is defending c6 after all, but I'm giving it 2 question marks here because in this position, you're going to bust out the first queen trap. And again, you can really get this position in almost every single game if you play like this. The move here is knight to d5. This is insane. What is the idea? Well, we're abandoning the defense of the bishop. Obviously, the black queen, it can just go down and take the bishop. But the problem with that is if he does it, you're going to gobble up that pawn on c7. For example, queen takes b5 is met by knight takes c7 with, I mean, look at that. The triple royal fork out of the opening. And this is literally an opening you can get, like, with a very high percentage of the time. Now, what if black doesn't take the bishop? The problem here is if the queen goes to, say, I don't know, d4 or something like that, you just take the pawn anyway and hit the king and the rook. Therefore, black kind of has to try to maintain the defense of that pawn. But where can you go? If you go to a5, here, white has the ludicrous idea of just increasing the pressure on the queen. For example, b4 can be played here, and black is just, he's in a lot of trouble here. For example, b4, and you can't take the pawn with the queen as the knight defends that square, and you can't take with the knight as the knight is pinned. So black right here, he's really busted. So there's just nothing he can do. If you can find knight d5, I mean, consider the opponent's queen gone right there, and that is going to be, right off the bat, our first insane queen trap out of the opening right there. Now, for the next one, what am I feeling? I'm feeling the King's Gambit. I'm really feeling this video. I don't know if you guys can tell. I mean, I got my new haircut, feeling very fly. My room is, like, messier than ever. You guys are, all the grandmasters in my videos who watch my videos are roasting me for my messy room here. So I'll give you some material. Just go ahead and, like, give me your best comment about my messy room. But I'm not feeling it. My haircut is too fly right now. I'm in too good of a mood. So, try all you want. It's not going to affect me. So here, Black goes e5. And this is going to be a King's Gambit queen trap. You got to love the King's Gambit. It's the one gambit that just won't die online. It's not even that good, but white players are just addicted to this gambit right here. So Black has a lot of ways to deal with it. I quite like the idea of E takes F4 followed by D6. I have an entire video on how to counter the King's Gambit. I may even link it right now. So look out for like a link to that video if you want it on your screen right now. But instead, in this video, we're covering D5 because in this line, Black has just a brutal queen trap to win the white queen. So white here is getting just blown off the board. So what you do, white here, he normally takes on D5. E takes D5. It's a pretty good move. Now, Black here can do a lot of things. You can go E takes F4. That's a solid idea. You can go E4. Taking the pawn is probably the best move. But beyond that, you can also do this move C6. And C6 is tricky. It's not necessarily the strongest move. It's not the most accurate one according to, my good friend Stockfish, but this has the queen trap. So what white's going to do, he's almost always going to capture that pawn. We take back with the knight. So far, so good. Now, here, a lot of white players, they're not going to take on e5, as if you do that, the knight recaptures, and Black is doing just fine. So instead, what white's going to do is going to jump up with that knight f3, and then you just push your pawn to the e4 square. And already, you've got this tension on the knight, and the queen is going to have access to this h4 square. That's part of why white went knight f3 in the first place. But as soon as that knight leaves, that queen is going to pop in, and white's going to be in trouble. Now, here, a lot of white players go knight to e5. The point being that knight is being supported by the pawn on f4, so white sort of looks to be okay here. Sort of, but we're not slowing down as Black. Bishop c5. It's a very important move. This bishop is obviously very active on this diagonal, pressures f2 and whatnot. And as we're about to see, white's going to be in a lot of trouble. Now, most white players here, they have that pressure on the knight. White's trying to castle quickly. So a lot of white players do go bishop b5. And it makes a lot of sense. This is not a terrible move by any means. But Black here has the option of ignoring the threat. So what is white's threat? Well, obviously, if Black wastes a move, let's say h5, white's going to take twice on c6, fork the king and the rook, and try to have a good game. But what we can do as Black, instead of going alpha 0 style on move 7 here, what we do is we go knight f6. And here, we're essentially begging white to make the mistake of capturing on c6. And most King's Gambit players, they're not exactly the brightest tool in the tool shed, if you know what I mean. They're not, I'm really ragging on King's Gambit players today. They're a lot of fun to play, actually. But anyways, white here. If the King's Gambit player, if the very bright tool in the tool shed takes on c6, we're going to take back, and white's going to take again. And at this point, Mr. King's Gambit is like, yo, attack on the king, attack on the rook. Like, what's going on here? Am I winning? And the answer is no, white is not winning. We go bishop d7, we block the attack. Now, if white goes bishop takes a8, that is the move you would expect. Here, Black busts out the idea, and this is actually a good time for a puzzle. If you like puzzles, pause this one right here and try to see what Black is doing here. Because the move is so shocking. It's the move bishop to g4. Now, it's not shocking in the sense that, it's an obvious move to try, but what's shocking about this is the queen on d1 is actually trapped. It actually can't go anywhere. It can't go to any of these squares, and if you go anywhere on this diagonal, here, you lose the queen. And without the bishop, or without the knight to block the attack on, say, e2, f3, and so on, you kind of just win the queen. For example, queen takes, knight takes, and Black here is up the queen. He's got better development. You're crashing through on the f2 square. White's king is, the king's kind of like my dad's favorite TV show, Naked and Afraid. So yeah, it's not good for white. So really, Black here is just, he's got a brutal position. Yeah, what do you think, guys? How about a Sicilian defense queen trap next? Let's do some Sicilian defense action. So Sicilian, as you all know, is e4 c5, very combative opening, very aggressive. lot of fun games here. But we're gonna turn the tables on black, and we're actually gonna win the black queen, and we're gonna do it with maybe the most aggressive way to meet this. That is the Smith-Morra Gambit. Now, the Smith-Morra Gambit, what you do, you go d4, you're inviting black to capture. Black sort of has to capture if he wants to maintain at least equality. And now here, the kind of the default move is queen takes d4, but the problem with that, black can go knight c6, pressuring the queen, and the queen has to move again, and black's kind of doing fine. So what we do instead, we go c3, and this is the start of the Smith-Morra Gambit. So what's the idea here? Well, white is giving up the pawn, but in return for that, he's getting very fast development. For example, d takes, knight takes, and here, white's idea basically is knight f3, bishop c4, castles, and then launching some sort of piece-based attack on the black king, maybe knight e5 or g5 is coming, pressuring f7, and so on. That's kind of the basic idea. And black has some ways to defend, but it's not easy. One of the most popular lines at the amateur level, even higher than that, is black will go, for example, for a fast knight c6 and knight f6, but that actually walks right into our trap. So black goes knight c6, then from here we go knight f3, and here, a lot of black players, they're not going to go knight f6 right away. The problem with that move here, gotta blow my nose there. Problem with that move is you can just go e5. For example, knight f6 is met by e5, and white is getting sort of an initiative here. So instead, black will normally go d6, and this move looks logical. I mean, fair enough, black. But here, we just continue, bishop c4, and this bishop is very active, and black is about to walk into our trap. So if he goes knight f6, this is where things already get a little bit tricky for black, because we're going to go e5. And our goal here, our king is pretty close to getting to the king side, and black's king is kind of far away. He needs at least, say, 1, 2, 3 moves to castle. So we're busting open the center, and black is about to be caught with his figurative pants down here. So what can black do? Well, most black players here will take the pawn with the knight. Knight takes e5. The idea is you win the pawn, you hit the bishop, you hit the knight. Life seems to be pretty good for black, right? Well, it turns out it is not, because here comes the big daddy trap. You take the knight on e5. Knight takes e5. Black takes back. And this is where you sacrifice the bishop on f7. And this is a deflection sacrifice. It's brilliant. The point being, the queen controls all of these squares. The bishop obviously controls that square. The king's under a check. And where can the king go? The only square here for the king is king takes f7. And now you just swoop in, steal the queen. And if you're Will in Bali right now, you are just like, you know, you're having a good old time with this trap right here. You won the queen. Life is good. You're feeling divine. You're feeling sublime. Eating the lime. Your opponent's losing his mind. It's not good for your opponent. So let's go on to another one. Which one should we do? Let's do some 1d4 openings. So 1d4, a really fun opening here for black is going to be the what is this? The black, not the Blackmar-Diemer. It's the Faulkner Countergambit. What's the name of this one? The Faulkner Countergambit. Someone correct me. I'm blanking on the name of this gambit. I should know this. I mean, I teach chess. I coach chess for a living. I should know this. I call myself a chess coach. Anyway, by the way, guys, I got this like secret free coaching program I'm doing right now in this secret free chess community. Link is in the description. Just go to that link, the school community. If you want to get coached by me for free, I literally do 2 group coaching calls for free on Saturday. Whether you're in America or Europe or Asia, I guarantee you can make at least one of those calls, and I'll work with you for free, helping you out, correcting whatever you need to hit your chess goals. I've also got a free chess course, and you can also DM me whatever questions you have. I'm happy to answer your questions, review your games. So again, link is in the description. It's my free chess community / coaching program. If you want to learn directly from me, just go there. Thank me later. Anyway, here. In this position, white normally takes on e5. That is the main line here. Now, black's going to go d4 here. That is the entire point of the gambit. He's giving up this pawn on e5. However, if white takes, he goes d4, and now black has sort of this space advantage in the center here. And beyond that, his pieces have some really easy squares to go to, and black has very easy development here with knight g7 and g6. And more importantly, in this line, white, if he goes for the move e3, a lot of white players will do this. Their idea is, let's just trade off these pawns, let's trade off the queens, and we'll have an easy game. But as black, we didn't play this gambit to have an easy game. We played it to win the queen and to crush white out of the opening. So what we do here, bishop b4. You fly down with the bishop. Very good move. You check the king. Now, where's the king going to go? Well, bishop d2 is probably the most common way to block the attack. It's a good move, but here black has this really, really disturbing idea. D takes e3. Now, at first glance, you may be saying, Dr. Mike Chess, what's going on? Is that bishop hanging? And by the way, a lot of you guys are asking, my real name is Dr. Mike Jansen. I'm actually a doctor / physical therapist in the United States, and hence the DR Mike Chess, in case you guys are wondering. So anyways, I get a lot of questions about that in my community. But anyway, here, we took on e3. We're giving up the bishop, but white cannot take it. And now here's the cool part. If white doesn't take it, you can't take the pawn with the bishop, as then your king is under check. The bishop is pinned. And if you take with the f pawn, then white's pawn structure after, say, f takes e3 is really, really not good. It's just not a good pawn structure. So, with that in mind, a lot of white players are going to just capture the bishop. But this is where things get absolutely insane. So what we're going to do here as black, if you get this as black, I mean, oh boy, you are going to be losing your mind with this. You take the pawn. Obvious move, right? Nothing crazy there. But here's the thing. If white takes the pawn with the king, he loses the queen to this trap again. So white is not going to do that. What he's going to do is king to e2. He moves up the king, maintains the defense of the queen. Simple chess geometry trick right there. But this is where things get completely insane. Now, if you take the knight here and promote to a queen, white's going to be okay. As you can see with the eval bar skyrocketing, white can trade queens, then win your queen, and white is doing fine. He's doing just fine. Material is roughly level. White's actually might even be up material, so white is fine. But what you do instead of that, you actually under-promote to a knight. This is just a shockingly insane move. Now, again, if the king goes to any of these three squares, excuse me, I can't talk. It's 10:48 p.m. on a Sunday night, and I'm filming chess videos. What am I doing here? If the king goes to any of these squares right here, obviously, you just take the queen and you win. So white, he can't go here because the queen controls that. He kind of has to go back here to say maybe the e1 square. But then what you can do, the attack continues. You can go queen to h4, and white here is in so much trouble. So either white gives up the queen with, say, king to f2, you take the queen, or if he doesn't, he's got to go to, say, e1, and the attack continues, and white is just completely busted here. For example, the best line for both sides goes king d2, knight c6, the knight's jumping in, pressuring the bishop. The king has to go to c3 to try and run away and defend, but then you go queen f2 with threats everywhere. I mean, white here is in so much trouble, so white might as well give up the queen in this scenario. White is just, he's not doing so good. All right, let's do another d4 opening. How about the, let's do this one. There's that gambit where black goes knight f6, c4, and then e5. Now, this one is very popular, and typically white will take on e5. That is the best move here. And the main move for black is going to be knight g4. But that move is not nearly as tricky or as fun, and it doesn't lead to you winning the queen. And here, by the way, if you play white, if you play 1d4 as white, what I recommend here as white, in case you're curious, the move e4 is by far the simplest way to meet this. You drive back the knight, black takes your pawn, he wins back the pawn, but then you go f4, gaining space, and you have this like really cool 3-pawn formation with a lot of space. That's what I like. It might actually be the strongest line as well, so definitely recommend that line right there. But instead, and this is for black, we're not trying to play as white here, we're playing as black. We're giving up a pawn, and then we're winning this queen on d1. What we do here, knight to e4. This is the other move that black can play. Now here, white will very often go knight f3, a very solid move, nothing wrong with that. But here what you do you're going to play this move b6. And this move b6 has a very specific idea. Now, it's not really about fianchettoing the bishop on b7, or fianchettoing as Hikaru says sometimes. Good old Hikaru. It's not about the fianchetto or about Cheetos or any fianchetto business. What this is about is we're begging white to go queen d5. Now, this move, if you know anything about chess tactics, if you can attack the queen, the knight and the rook at the same time, that is a move worth considering. So queen d5 by white is a solid move. Nothing wrong with that. But the point is, in this position, as black, we're actually going to go bishop b7. And this is shocking. So obviously, you can't take the knight because then the queen wins the knight on e4. So white is going to win the bishop and try to win the rook. But this is what we want as black, because this queen is trapped. This whole thing is booby-trapped right here. That queen is in jail. It is not getting out. So what you do is knight c6. You develop the knight, and now from here, the queen is going to be trapped. For example, your plan could be knight c5, or it could be a6, then rook a7. And white's got to act fast. If he doesn't act right now, he will be in trouble. So what's white going to do? Queen to a6. Logical idea. You got to run, force, run. Run, force, run. Get that queen the heck out of there. But then black's still got some ideas. First of all, this knight on e4, very, very active, controlling these squares here. And therefore, bishop b4 is very annoying for white. So bishop b4 is our first move. Now, white's going to go bishop d2, trying to block the attack. Perfectly fine. But what we do here is knight c5. We just ignore this bishop entirely, and we target the queen. And now, what can the queen do? Well, these squares are off limits. They're not good. Black wins the queen. So queen b5 is the only square. By the way, b7 also covered by that knight. That knight is a monster right there. So queen b5, is the move for white. But here, black has this very simple sequence. You take the bishop, white takes back, and then you just play this pawn move, a6, and get a load of this. The queen, every single square here is being covered by some piece, and the queen obviously can't move like a knight, so a3 doesn't count, and the queen is getting busted on these squares, and therefore, the queen, yet again, is being trapped, and white here, I mean, this is not a good position for white. All right, in honor of Alireza Firouzja, I feel like he is the king of knight c3 these days. I think it used to be Morozevich, Alexander Morozevich, the very creative Russian grandmaster, I believe. But these days, Alireza is the king of knight c3. We're giving that 2 exclamation points right there. I think he recently played it against Viswanathan Anand, the Indian grandmaster, Indian former world champion. That game was a lot of fun. So knight c3, it's not actually a 2 exclamation point move. It's more like a dubious move, but I digress. Anyway, here, black often goes d5, standard move, and the way to save knight c3 is you go for a Jobava London with d4 and then bishop f4, which is not a bad opening. Magnus Carlsen plays it a lot, but we're not here to play standard chess. We're here to win the queen on d8. So what we do, we play this move e4. Black's going to take, and here, what we do is bishop c4. Now, as we all know, this bishop in these lines, like, it is just zoning in on that f7 square. So here's how it works. Knight f6, very common idea. And we're going to go d3, opening up lines here. Now, black normally takes, and what we do here, we don't win with the queen. If we take with the queen, black captures back, and then black is fine. And if we take with the bishop, we're sort of undeveloping this bishop. That is not what you want. You want the bishop right on this square right here inside this weird chess diamond square structure. We want it right here. So what we do is knight to f3. We don't move it. And here's the trap. Here is where almost every single one of your online opponents, if you're rated, say, 1437, is going to do. What he's going to do is d takes c2, or what she's going to do. Maybe you're playing a female chess player. Who knows? Your opponents, male, female, old, young, they're going to take that pawn. And in this position, what you do, bishop takes f7. the deflection sacrifice. We've seen this theme before. The king takes, and then you capture the queen on d8. And this is about where your opponent will be rage quitting from this game. He is going to be out of there. It's not going to be good. All right. How about some more e4 openings? This one is a lot of fun as black. I mean, you can play this a lot as black, especially below, say, 1,283 ELO. Here, black goes e5. I'm really feeling this video these days, today. I can't talk. I just ruined myself. I am feeling this video. This is going to be a 2.87 million view in 36 hours video. Got a good feeling about it. All right, e5, knight f3, knight c6, then bishop c4, the Italian. And here, we're not going for mainline knight f6, bishop c5, d6, a6, bishop a7, castles, rook e8, bishop b6, trade the bishops, go d5. No! What we're doing here, we're playing the move knight d4. Bang. Here's the idea. This is a trap. This is one of the oldest tricks in the book, but your opponents, I mean, I'm telling you, amateur level, these things will work. All right, white here. He has the option of winning the knight, but almost no white players will do that because almost everyone is going to capture this pawn. Now, what could be more natural than this? You win the pawn, the knight jumps in, and you're threatening the pawn on f7 in the spirit of the fried liver attack, sort of. What could be better than that? Well, it turns out almost everything is better than that because this move right here is no bueno, mi amigo. Here, black is going to go queen to g5. Very good. You threaten the knight and you threaten g2. Now, of course, in the process, black is giving up that pawn on f7. So white obviously can swoop in and take it. So that is it's a very serious threat. And most white players here will take that pawn. But this does not work. Here, black, you ignore the rook. That rook is as good as gone. There is no saving it. What you do here is queen takes g2. You win that pawn, you threaten white's rook with check, and that would be like borderline checkmate. Not quite, but pretty darn close. Therefore, white here, he sort of has to go rook f1. The point being, the rook on h8 is as good as gone. You can't save it. Therefore, white will try to save his own rook. But this does not reduce the pain. I mean, white is in for max pain right here. This is like, it's not good for him. Queen takes e4. Max pain right here. Now, this is where white, one of three things will happen. One, he's going to rage quit right now. Two, he's going to get checkmated. Three, he's going to lose his queen. So, assuming he doesn't rage quit, which I can't promise, he might. If white goes bishop e2, blocking the attack on the king and trying to keep the queen alive, then you do the smothered checkmate knight to f3. And look at this. The bishop is pinned. The knight hits the king. You can't win the knight. The king is smothered, and therefore you win the game. Now, what else can white do here? For beginners, the only thing worse than getting checkmated is losing the queen in the opening, and queen e2 does just that. You just take the queen, and you win as black. It's about that simple. There's not much else to cover there, if you know what I mean. So, really, a brutal, brutal checkmate right there. All right, let's do some more 1d4 openings. So let's say white goes 1d4. Here, black very often goes d5. And in this position, what we're going to do, we're going to go e4. Now, this is an absolute pawn sacrifice. There's no other way to say it. And it's going to have a deadly trap with it. All right. Black takes on e4. D takes e4. We go knight c3. Attack the pawn. Black goes knight f6. Defends the pawn. And here we go f3, making this a permanent pawn sacrifice. And now here, black. Defending as black here is not easy. What we're going to do, if black takes the pawn, that is the only move. If he doesn't do that, we capture on e4 and we're cruising. We got these two pawns here. White's got a nice edge here. So black here, he sort of has to capture. And taking with the knight may look a little more natural, but instead, we're going to take with the queen, and this leads to our trap. And first of all, this move does give up the pawn on d4. There are a lot of lines in the Scandinavian defense where black goes for a very fast bishop g4, white goes h3, black takes, white takes, and then the pawn on d4 is hanging. And here, taking on d4 is not that bad for white. If black takes, White is going to go bishop e3, developing with tempo on the queen. The queen's got to move. And where is the queen going to go? A lot of black players will go queen b4 here. Now, the idea is very simple. You pin the knight, and you threaten b2. And that looks really annoying. However, here, we just long castle. And this is where the fun begins. A lot of black players here are going to say, wait a minute. Queen, rook, d1, f3, bishop g4. Bada boom, bada bang. I win your rook on d1 with the skewer. But little do they know, we're not even going to move the queen. What we're going to do is knight to b5. And this move is so dirty. It is like my room back here. It is just so, so dirty. All right, the idea is if black takes the queen, you deliver checkmate. This is checkmate, chess YouTube. The king's under check. You can't move the king. Bada boom, bada bang. Black is getting checkmated. So what else can black do? That's right. There's only one thing black can do right here. He's got to give up the queen. Queen takes b5. White takes back, and white is winning. White can move this. I mean, black's under check. Now you can move the queen to anywhere you want, and you win. You win the game. It's really, really that simple. Sometimes chess really is a simple game, as it is right here in this position. All right, backing it up here. Time for our 10th queen trap out of the opening. And I'm telling you, this is the OG queen trap right here. This one you may know if you're a connoisseur of chess YouTube videos. This one is just so fine. You'll be feeling divine, just totally sublime. Your opponent will be losing his mind. I mean, you'll be eating a lime. It's going to be so good. So knight f3, d5. Very common stuff right here. What you're going to do is the move e4. This is the start of the Intercontinental Missile Gambit. And yes, this is a real chess opening. The Intercontinental Ballistic Missile Gambit. Say that 10 times fast. You'll be talking worse than I am right now. All right, d takes e4. White's going to go knight g5. Now, this is obviously a very active square for the knight. Now, you may be saying, all right, Dr. Mike Chess, you're attacking e4. That makes sense. What if black goes knight f6? Well, that is what we want because we are going for the move d3. Now, this may look a little simple. What's going on here? Black can take, white can take back, and black looks fine, right? Right? No, he's not fine. If black goes h6 here, this is our gambit. We're going to launch in with the knight. Knight takes f7. Look at this. This is just a disgusting knight sacrifice. Worse than my room right here. There. Here. What can black do? If he moves the queen, you win the rook, and you're just completely winning. If black takes the knight, bishop to g6. Oh, that is just... Oh, the king takes the bishop. The queen takes the queen. Boom. And you are doing fantastic. And by the way, there's one trap here you got to worry about. If black goes e5 here, he's threatening bishop b4 check, hitting the king. For example, if you go, you know, for a silly move here, like queen takes c8, then black can actually win your queen with bishop b4 check with a discovered attack on the queen. So you do not want to fall for that by any means. So when you see e5, you've got to castle or you got to get your queen the heck out of there. And if you can do either of those things, you should be okay. But you gotta do it. And by the way, there were some other openings here, at least one more that I missed. All right, 1d4, e5, d takes, and black can go bishop c5 here. Now, in this position, black, what we're doing is we're setting up yet another trap, and this one is like this one. If your opponent falls for this trap right here, including the pre-move tip that I'm going to give you, you got to do it online, and you got to play this pre-move that I'm going to show you where, you know, white's going to be just pulling his hair out here. All right, knight f3. What you're going to do is d6. So far, so good. You're opening up the center, setting up your idea. White takes, and before white takes, this is what you want to do. You literally want to have the move knight e7 lined up in advance. So you move d6, and as soon as you move d6, if you're playing on, say, chess.com or Lichess, you want to immediately play the move knight e7. That way, as soon as white takes here, which he will almost all the time, white takes there, you have the move knight to e7 coming. And white is going to look at this and go, wait a minute, you pre-moved that. You had it lined up no matter what. That must be a blunder. You must be giving up your knight for no reason. Well, you are not giving it up for no reason. I can tell you that much right here. D takes e7 is met by the move bishop takes f2 in the spirit of the Intercontinental Ballistic Missile Gambit. Here, white has no choice but to capture the bishop. There's nothing else. White takes, and black takes the queen on the d1 square, and black again wins the queen of white. It is just absolutely brutal stuff. White is getting blown off the board here. You do not want to be white right there. Yeah, you do not want to be white right there. Does that cover everything I wanted to cover? I think it does. By the way, I've got an opening trap that I want to give you guys to try and solve here. I'm not going to give you the ultimate puzzle, but the opening trap, it comes from the Caro-Kann, and it is this position right here. Try to find the brutal idea for white right here in this position, and comment down below the video what you think the solution is. If you get it, I may even just respond to you guys. As you can see, I am responding to virtually all comments these days, so comment down below in terms of what you think this trap is right here. I will get back to you. And by the way, if you enjoyed this video, smash that like button for me. It helps me out a ton. Comment down below. And again, I've got a new secret chess community / secret free coaching program going on right now where I do free group coaching calls with you directly via Zoom. If you want to improve at chess, if you want me to analyze your own games and tell you exactly where you're going wrong and how to improve, the same way you guys are pointing out exactly where I went wrong with my room right here and where I can clean it up. If you want me to give you, personal one-on-one attention during these free Zoom calls, just go to my free community. It's school.com/chess mindset. Link is in the description below. So head right there. It's also the first link in my YouTube channel bio. So just go there. I've got free group coaching calls on Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern, and I'm probably going to do it at 10 p.m. Eastern at night, which would mean if you're in, like, say, Asia, India, it'll be Saturday night, Sunday morning time, something like that. So again, if you want to work with me, just go there. I'm happy to help. I'll see you there. And I've got a good feeling about this video. This video is going to, what did I say? 2.87 million views in 36 hours. Let's see what happens, but that's what I'm feeling. 2.87 million in 36 hours. Let's see what happens. Comment down below what you think of that prediction, and I'll see you next time. And by the way, best of luck on your chess improvement journey. I really hope you guys reach all of the goals you have in 2025 and beyond, and I'll see you in the next video.